I don't know what it is. I feel like the more intense the fights have got, the more intense that the fight camps have got, the more chilled he's become. But I think that's because he's just so focused on the job in hand that nothing will get in the way. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's moments that he'll bite my head off.
Come on, Conor. And it was just, it's just hard. It's just a hard situation.
Listen, we know what we've seen, like I said, in regards to what Conor has put on his...
Goes and gets himself arrested this morning. This is obviously very disappointing. Let me tell y'all what happened, because I'm familiar with that. It's a damn shame, but I promise you that's all that happened. I'm willing to bet my check that's all that happened.
Conor Benn's wife just drops bombshell about Conor Benn, and you can tell why. The man's a ticking bomb. With the drug test scandal shadowing his career, every training camp feels like chaos. One spark, one insult, and he might just lose his head, literally and mentally.
Decides to do it, we'll back him no matter what he decides. However, we will steer him away from being a fighter.
Nigel Benn steps in like a father defending his legacy, but even his words can't wash away the stain. The world still remembers those failed tests, and no amount of emotion changes the headlines. Nigel's heart says clean, but the record says questionable. You can feel the desperation creeping through every sentence.
Hi guys, as you know, we're in total shock. I've been with my son for the last 10 weeks and the training has just gone absolutely the best it could ever been. He's a dedicated trainer, he leaves no stone unturned, and we'll get to the bottom of this. I love my son. I know he don't cut no corners, he just goes straight at it 100%, but we'll keep you informed, we'll let you know what the next...
And just when the defense softens, Johnny Nelson fires back with brutal honesty. Johnny Nelson doesn't sugarcoat. He calls it exactly how it is. Everyone's walking on eggshells around Conor's drug scandal, pretending it'll blow over. But the truth? It's burning underneath the surface. You can't hide dirty tests behind fancy statements forever, and fans are losing patience by the minute.
That's not our... This is about this week. Let the board, let Conor, let Eddie deal with that sort of stuff, because that's their hot potato. It's not our issue. And when it all comes out, then we can comment on it fairly. But you can't really say anything.
Lee McAllister tries to defend Conor, but even his words sound unsure. The problem is, you can't erase failed tests with sympathy. Boxing fans remember everything, and excuses don't win trust. Conor's legacy isn't under threat because of rumors. It's under threat because of proof. And no one feels sorrier than his own promoters right now.
Personally, I do not think that Conor Benn would have intensely took steroids. And that's just my opinion. He's a young, fit, strong guy. I do not see why he would need to do that. And even moving up weight, I don't see why he would need to do that. He walks about that way anyway. But for me, the key is, like I say, I feel sorry for Eddie Hearn.
Johnny Nelson's reaction says it all. Confusion, frustration, disbelief. Everyone's talking, but no one's explaining. If Conor's clean, where's the transparency? If he's guilty, why is he still fighting? The whole saga reeks of chaos. And while Benn's camp hides behind statements, Eubank's silence screams louder, focused, ready, and waiting to expose him again.
There is going to be, there needs to be an inquiry straight after this, why, what. But that's what I'm hearing. This news is as fresh to me as it is you. I'm quite sure when this goes out, it'll be all over the place anyway. But all I can say is he passed the UK one.
Duke McKenzie nails it. Conor's biggest flaw isn't his power, it's his pride. He walked into that fight thinking he could bully Eubank Jr. like some rookie, but Eubank's discipline and IQ made him look lost. Conor's wild swings weren't confidence, they were desperation. You could see the difference between a calculated technician and an emotional brawler. Eubank didn't just beat him, he exposed him. The comparison to Nigel Benn hurts because it's true. The son's fighting on emotion, not legacy. Conor thought he could knock out respect, but boxing doesn't work like that. Respect is earned, not shouted.
Really his style, Conor Benn. Conor Benn's not a massive puncher, not even at welterweight. So really, he's kind of mugged himself off a little bit by saying, I'm going to knock this guy out. He didn't give Eubank enough respect. Like I say, he was throwing shots at several points in that fight, and he wasn't even looking where they were going. It was just like head down, just winging the shots over.
Eddie Hearn's in full damage control mode again. You can almost hear the exhaustion in his voice, trying to smooth over a storm that refuses to settle. When the board refuses to sanction a fight, it's not just business, it's a red flag. Hearn's juggling lawyers, media pressure, and a fighter whose reputation is already hanging by a thread. Meanwhile, Eubank Jr. stands tall. No controversy, no excuses, just results. The contrast couldn't be clearer. One man fighting to keep his license clean, the other trying to clean his name, and fans see it. They're tired of the spin. They want accountability, not sympathy.
What their statement is actually saying is that we're not sanctioning this fight. There's ongoing conversations with the lawyers and the British Boxing Board of Control. Obviously, we want everyone to be comfortable. Conor Benn, Chris Eubank Jr. are aware of all the information.
Eubank Jr. delivers the cold truth. No filters, no fake smiles. He's not just speaking for himself, he's speaking for boxing. When a fighter fails a test, that's it. Game over for equality. Conor's been hiding behind lawyers and promoters, but Eubank cuts straight through the noise. "You don't get 50-50ths" isn't just a line, it's a statement about integrity. Eubank's been mocked for his attitude, but right now, he's the only one standing on principle. It's not bitterness, it's justice. And the best part, he's saying it calmly, like a man who already knows how this story ends, with him on top and Conor still explaining.
When you fail his drugs test, you don't get 50-50 split.
No. No matter commercial power pulling, no.
You don't get 50-50 split if you fail a drug.
Chris Eubank Jr. doesn't mince words. This is pure intimidation. It's raw, personal, and you can see the difference between a fighter trying to prove something and one who's already proven everything. Eubank's calm fury, that cold smirk behind the insults, it's all part of the game. He's not just threatening Conor Benn, he's dismantling his confidence piece by piece. You can hear the experience in every word. A man who's been through wars, knockdowns, and heartbreaks, yet still stands taller than the noise. Meanwhile, Conor's reaction, always emotional, always swinging back verbally instead of staying composed. That's where he loses, not in the ring, but in the mind. Eubank's dead boy walking isn't a taunt, it's prophecy. He knows Conor's fire burns too hot, too fast, and when the bell rings, emotion can't save him. This isn't just a fight anymore, it's personal vengeance disguised as sport.
You're a kid, yeah, kid that's gonna fuck you up, yeah, kid that's gonna fuck you up, yeah.
Watch what happens.
Yeah, watch what happens. Dead boy walking, yeah? Dead boy walking, yeah? Yeah, you're lucky. You're lucky.
Then Tony Bellew jumps in, reading the stakes like a man who knows how brutal rematches can be. Tony Bellew calls it like he sees it, fair but fiery. He knows timing decides everything in boxing. For Conor Benn, time might be his only friend left. He's younger, hungrier, desperate to rewrite his story. But let's not forget, youth doesn't always equal advantage. Eubank Jr.'s experience and composure make him dangerous even when he's bruised. That first fight took a toll, sure, but it also lit a fire in him. Eubank's not walking into this rematch looking for redemption. He's coming for domination. Meanwhile, Conor's camp is racing against the clock, trying to rebuild a reputation still bleeding from failed tests and public doubt. Bellew's right about urgency, but the irony is brutal. The quicker Benn rushes into this fight, the faster Eubank could finish him again. That's the gamble, redemption or ruin. No middle ground left for Conor Benn.
6'8", he ain't coming back down to 160, so it's got a very short lifespan, this rematch. It's got to be done, the sooner the better. If I'm being brutally honest, the sooner the rematch happens, in my opinion, it favours Conor Benn, because he's the younger fighter who's took less damage and has had a much lesser career with much less experience. For someone like Chris Eubank Jr., it's going to take a while to turn around, and it's going to take a while to recover, because that was a hard fight for him. He was shook a number of times, he felt the shots. He'd also...
Duke McKenzie's words sum it up perfectly. The spectacle was electric. That night wasn't just about punches. It was about pride, family legacies, and national tension. The Benn Eubank name carries a weight only true British boxing fans understand. The atmosphere, The build-up, the intensity, it felt like history repeating itself. But beneath the lights and cheers, there's unfinished business. Conor's side wants redemption. Eubanks wants confirmation. Mackenzie's right. Events like this don't happen often. They grip the nation, dividing fans like a football derby. But this rematch isn't about entertainment anymore. It's about reputation. Conor's fighting to prove he belongs, while Eubanks fighting to prove dominance. Every ticket sold, every camera flash. It's pressure on Benn's shoulders, because when that bell rings again, nostalgia won't save him. Only truth will, and Eubanks' right hand might deliver it brutally.
No, you know, like I say, the fight wasn't a letdown because it was a good fight. But as an event, you won't get a better event than that, and they'll have to go some actually to surpass that, or even equal that. Let's just hope they get the same turnout in terms of the numbers, people going through the live gate and watching that fight, because it was a great event. There's no if, buts, or maybes. You won't get world title fights that actually are a better event.
Carl Froch brings the realism. This isn't about belts or rankings anymore, it's about ego and paydays. But that's exactly what makes it so magnetic. Two men born into boxing royalty, now fighting not for titles, but for legacy. Conor Benn's chasing validation, trying to erase the stain that's followed him since those drug tests. Eubank, on the other hand, is chasing closure, the final nail in the coffin of a rivalry that spanned decades. Froch's words cut through the hype. This isn't just sport, it's business. And in business, emotion costs you. Eubank knows how to control it, Benn doesn't. That's why Froch's take stings, because it's true. When the gloves touch, all that family pride and father's name, stuff disappears. What's left are two men chasing money, legacy, and survival, but only one of them's walking out with his head high, and that's Eubank Jr.
For me, it's a fight that probably means a lot less for boxing than what it does for the actual fighters. You know, the fighters, for them, there's a lot at stake. Conor Benn wants to overturn the decision. And Chris Eubank wants to cement the decision and say, "Hey, I've done it twice." Bottom line is they're making big bunts, aren't they? Big dollar, and they might as well make money. These are prize fighters. We can't begrudge them making money fighting, because that's what they do. That's why they get in there.
And here we are, the storm before the storm. Conor Benn versus Chris Eubank Jr. isn't just a fight anymore. It's a collision of legacy, revenge, and redemption. One man's fighting to rebuild his name, the other's fighting to bury him for good. The tension is thicker than ever. Every interview, every stare down, every word dripping with unfinished anger. If Eubank Jr. wins again, it's not just victory, it's dominance. He cements himself as the smarter, cleaner, mentally stronger fighter. It becomes a message to every critic integrity still matters. But if Conor Benn pulls off the upset, it'll rewrite the headlines overnight. The fallen sun rising from scandal to redemption. Yet deep down, fans know this fight isn't just about belts or bragging rights. It's about who can handle the heat when everything's on the line. The nation's split, half cheering redemption, half craving justice. So tell us, who are you backing when that bell rings? Drop your thoughts below. Eubank's composure or Benn's desperation? Because this time, pride, blood, and legacy are all on the line.